There's a crisis of confidence among the 2.4 million small business people right across Australia. As a consequence, just recently we held a small business forum at the Bentley Club in my electorate, and it was attended by Bruce Bilson, a colleague of mine who is the Shadow Minister for Small Business and Competition Policy. He's a former small business person himself and extremely well informed in the Shadow Cabinet and highly regarded across the sector. We had some 70 small business people attending this forum, and we drew people from the Bentley and McKinnon Traders Association, the North Brighton Chamber of Commerce, and a host of small individual owners of businesses across the electorate. Small business, of course, is the engine room of the Australian economy. It does employ more than half of the 11 million people in the Australian workforce. They are the centre of innovation within our economy, and good ideas that are developed at a small business level with entrepreneurs taking risks are invariably picked up by bigger organisations and put into practice for the benefit of all Australians. The sad thing is, over the last 5 years, some 300,000 people have lost their jobs in small business. There is enormous pressure being brought to bear, cost increases in particular. Now, these were the findings of those who participated in this small business forum. The concerns that they expressed to myself and Bruce Bilson were dominated by the choking effect of regulation, the fact that it's been accelerating the numbers of regulations, of red tape, the time they have to spend in business hours and outside of business hours to meet all of these requirements. The interest rates, the highest level in the Western world, these were things that were constraining their ability to fund their operation, and it also added significantly to their cost structure compared with those that they have to compete with in other countries. People were deeply concerned about the cost of a carbon tax when none of their competitors are facing such a cost. They're deeply concerned about how it will flow from one part of a production process to another, and the sale part of the operation, the increased energy costs faced by every part of the value chain. These things were of great concern, and they know nothing about. Here they are, just a matter of 3 months from its implementation, and none of the questions that they had been answered by the government. This is a stab in the dark, and it is seen as something that is just the final straw in many respects in terms of the cost burden they're facing. They talked endlessly about the growing regulation of the labour market, of their employees, the paperwork, the imposts now and lack of flexibility that they've got to work with their own employees to find out arrangements which suit both the employees and the employer. They are now having their hands tied in so many respects in the way in which they employ people and who they employ. Again, it is putting a very serious constraint on their business. I think that overwhelmingly the mood of the meeting was that they feel there is no empathy by the Gillard government, no understanding of both the importance of small business, the difficulties and the risks that they're taking, the way in which so many are putting everything at stake with their small business. We must nurture small business. We must ensure that they are strong if we want jobs for our kids, if we want a prosperous society, and if we want a go-ahead society, one that's got hope. Only a coalition government understands what makes small business tick. We, if we get the privilege of government, will address these concerns and will give people, again, in the small business sector and hopefully much wider, the hope that is an important part of getting on with life and rewarding people and providing opportunity. Hope, reward and opportunity are the things that we will deliver if given the great honour of government.